Today we've headed up to Mount Dandenong, to the little town of Sherbrooke, where we find ourselves surrounded by the brightest colours that autumn has to offer. The extensive variety of flora throughout the gardens is truly a sight to behold, starting at the top of the mountain where the pools of water are reminiscent of our travels to Osaka, winding down through the giant mountain ash trees to the lake and then over to the arboretum. It's suggested that the time taken to traverse the gardens and its many different pathways that you can take is approximately 2 to 3 hours. But with the amazing sights and picnic facilities, it was clear that most visitors intended to spend the whole day here. And why wouldn't you, with such a perfect autumn day?
Where are we today, little Joey?
Alfred Nicholas Memorial Gardens up Mount Dandenong.
And what did you forget?
A jumper. Actually, it's really nice in the sun right now.
It is quite pleasant, but also the car said it was 11 degrees when we got here, so it's pretty chilly.
Yeah,
but
in the shade it's chilly, but in the sun it's beautiful.
She's getting her little solar charge in for today.
Yeah, makes me happy. Pathways are in generally great condition, meaning if you're keen enough to try, you can get around with prams or wheelchairs. Some paths are steps, but not the main ones. I'd probably struggle with pushing a wheelchair or a pram back up the hill myself, but we did see others giving it a red hot go. Also, your best pooch friend is allowed to be in this park whilst on the lead. It's a great park for dog spotting, to be sure. The parking facilities that are across the road from the entrance to the park don't facilitate the amount of visitors that are wanting to come in every day, and everyone ends up parking in the muddy areas along the narrow road. I'd suggest coming either pretty early or fairly late into the afternoon for a best chance at nabbing a parking spot that doesn't have you up to your ears in mud and off in the bushes. The original owner of the gardens, as you might suspect from the name, was Alfred Nicholas, who was the inventor of Aspro painkillers. He created the formula back around 1914. He purchased the land here in 1929 and proceeded to buy up the adjoining land around the original block, extending it up to 13 acres.
Very stripy tree.
So stripy. Many of the plants that now inhabit the property were brought in by Nicholas from all over Victoria and as far away as the Chelsea garden shows. In fact, he had people scouring all the way back to London for lots of the plants that ended up here. The 13 acres of eucalypt rainforest were transformed into the masterpiece gardens by 60 men employed by Nicholas during the Great Depression. And although most of the planting had been achieved, the gardens were still not completed by Nicholas's death in 1937.
Ooh, mushrooms. As you can see from this informative sign, Alfred Nicholas purchased his land in 1929 to build his summer residence and then proceeded to buy surrounding land to add to his estate. Of course he did.
Clearly a pauper. He was clearly a man who struggled for money, not two bob to rub together. I pity the fool. Hey everyone, just before we finish up this video, I just wanted to announce the winner of the giveaway of the Top Walks in Australia book that we promoted as a giveaway in our Top Hikes of Victoria video that we put out about a month or so ago. In that video, the challenge was to pick how many of Betty's Mickey backpacks that you could see throughout the video. And the reason why it's taken me this long to give it away is that the number that I came up with, and I went through a few times counting them, was never actually guessed properly. So, I've waited this long for somebody to come up with the answer, so what I've done is I've decided to give it away to someone who answered the closest number. So, the people who answered the closest, I put their names into a hat and I drew out one, and the winner is one of our other local channels here in Melbourne, and that's Cowboy Jojo's Adventures. So, thanks mate for joining us and putting your hat into the ring for this competition. If you just want to flick us an email, our contact details are in our About Us page, and I'll shoot you out the book very shortly. Thanks everyone for joining us again, and I hope to see you on the next adventure.
Trying to stay out of my shot.